Welcome to this week's Foxy TV. This is our 2024 year in review. So we're sitting here at the end of November. We don't have the exact number for the year, but where it's looking at coming out at this stage is about 1,450 installs for this year.
Oh, you rounded that down.
It's probably going to be slightly above that, but we've still got December to go, and December's always a little bit tricky to predict.
Yeah.
But compared to previous years, we're well up on 2023, which was just over 1,040. 2022 was about the same at 1,000, and kind of grew a lot compared to the years before that. So it's been a growth year.
Yeah, so last year the numbers were, I definitely feel they were impacted. Everyone felt this worldwide, that there was a definite slowdown in the market at the start of last year. Now that has not been what's happening this year. This year has been full steam ahead, a lot of initiatives coming in from the government, market's moving really, really well, and there's been quite a significant increase with predictions that Brisbane property prices over the next year will increase more than an average wage. So further growth for the market to be had over the next little while. It'll be interesting to see what the general election does for the property market, but I think we're going to have a strong start to next year.
So our biggest month of the year is pretty much the same every year, and it was October. Spring is always our busiest time, and October right in the middle tends to be the biggest. A few things changed, which I'll say first because the numbers were a bit crazy. So we had 2 new trucks. We used an external company to help do more. Our team is growing quite significantly. So the number for October this year was 181 installs in a single month, which is so far above anything we'd ever done before. I think 141 or something like that was about the biggest, and that was in September this year as well. So everything aligned. We had all of the capacity of the team. And
we also made the intentional decision to have that growth. We in March and April decided that that's where we wanted to head with the business, and that's really what we wanted to capture the possibility of. And we said yes to almost everything. There was a time there that we were having to stretch it out to a 2-week lead time, but it was say yes and we can figure it out because we don't want to let people down.
So we set ourselves a challenge.
We definitely set a big challenge for the team, and we set the same challenge last year, but did not hit those numbers. This year, same challenge. So 1,000 jobs in 10 months. The team smashed out of the ballpark, and we actually achieved that number in
September, August maybe. Yeah, so from January to October is when the challenge was running, and I think it was August. It was well ahead of time. We hit the 1,000 mark, so a huge October wasn't necessary to get there.
So we title our challenge Foxy Vacay because the reward at the end of such a mighty big challenge is actually a vacay. We take everybody and their families away to 3 nights away to somewhere where they wouldn't spend on themselves. So that's what we're looking forward to doing in a couple of weeks.
So one of the big measures that we track is number of houses out at any one point in time. And that's an indication of how much furniture is required. It's a good way for us to also know from our peak down to whatever we are at this point, how much are we going to have, how much do we need to be able to store in the warehouse. So it is an important number. Previously, our record was 182 last year, and it's been about that for a couple of years. With our huge October that we just had, we got to 254, I think it was, which is, again, an insane number. Huge amount of growth in terms of, and I'm not going to skip ahead, but in terms of what we needed stock-wise, how much buying Phoebe had to do. A few trips down to some fairs and to visit suppliers, but 254 is a new record for us.
Yeah, so obviously we spent
this is a Phoebe question.
A pretty penny on new furniture. I found some really amazing new suppliers and some suppliers that were able to supply us the product very quickly. So that's sort of key for what we need. I can't even believe I managed to spend this much money this year, but we spent $2 million on new stock, which means the total of stock that we have in our inventory would be sitting around the 7 to 8 mil.
It's about $8 million at the moment.
$8 million worth of inventory, but we need that level to be able to have the versatility in our stock to be able to obviously to furnish 254 homes and still have plenty of stock here so that we always can say yes with a good feeling that what we're going to present is perfect.
So we mentioned that we're going to have done just shy of 1,500 installs this year. We did work for, I'm just looking at my numbers now, so the number of different agents that we've worked for across the year, or lead agents, was 400, or is so far 465, which is well up on our previous years. Last year was 340, so 100 additional agents in a single year. And of those that we worked with, almost half of them, 277 of those, were agents that we'd never worked for before.
Now, again, that's reflective of the market, I think, that we're in Brisbane. When the market is as active as it is and as crazy as it has been for the past year, you have a lot of new agents who enter the market, and those agents, those conversations about bringing on styling, it's a more seamless conversation to have, and one that you are more brave to have, but also one that now the clients are more open to having styling. So we're having more agents who are actually quite new to the real estate game, actually bringing styling in as part of their marketing package to start with. So that's definitely reflective of that. We've also had a high proportion of our clients actually reaching out to us directly, and that obviously brings in new agents to us as well. So whilst we have our faithful agents and a lot of agents that we work alongside with often, we're getting the opportunity to meet a whole lot of new faces.
Well, I guess that's the other side to that in terms of the 277 new agents. The other part of that is about 280 agents that we've worked with in the past, continue to work with this year. So again, a huge number of people that we already have relationships with continue to come back to us.
But one of the biggest challenges, it never sits well with me to have an extended lead time.
Yes.
To create an environment, what we've tried really hard, obviously, to achieve styling being accepted by the Brisbane market and to become part of a sales campaign. But then the double-edged sword of that is when you can't keep up with the demand and the lead time pushes out. So we were at 2 weeks at one time, and to expect our clients to push out further than 2 weeks and potentially miss when that change when you went from a market where there were really hot buyers and there was limited market properties on the market to when we hit October and there was an influx of properties come to the market, to take away the opportunity to have a one and only unique product. That's really quite hard. I don't like that feeling. It's never been something that we've enjoyed, having extended lead time, but honestly, when you're running 5 trucks and we're doing 10 installs a day, there's a point at which we have to recognise, hey, we're doing everything that we can.
I would say one of the challenges, completely different tactic, was the move to the new warehouse, the organising of the new warehouse.
Completely our own doing.
The fit out, the preparation, the actual physical moving of everything, the dealing with a bigger landlord, like a commercial landlord that we haven't had to do before. We didn't really enjoy that experience a whole lot. That was just I think we handled it pretty well. I'm happy with the outcome, but it was a challenge that we hadn't faced before. So and we did it in September. I think the first day operating from this warehouse was September, which is, like I just said before,
we had handover the weekend we were away.
Yeah.
That's so silly.
So it was like, while we were busy, we had to make this move happen in a way that didn't interrupt or impact our clients and our agents. So that was a big challenge. Yep. And I would also add, same as every year, or every growth year that we've had, capacity-wise, we can say yes to a lot of work, but then we have to actually fulfill it, and we need the team to do that. We need, we talked about the purchasing that you had to do, but just buying it doesn't actually get it done. We still had to get it here. We had to get it unboxed and assembled, and we have to have the team to fill in, 5 trucks, and we've got to have the stylists trained up. So again, people is always a challenge, in the sense that as you grow, you need to be bringing in the right people and training them. And again, I think this year was a really, really great year from that point of view.
Do you feel that every other year that's been a challenge that was a really easy one to voice? Do you feel the same level?
I think it is, but I think we probably handled the challenge. Well, I don't know if handled's the right way. We got through the challenge maybe easier. We have more leadership maybe this year within the team, so it wasn't just or mostly on you and I. I think we were able to lean on some other people in the team more to help with that growth phase, and I think that worked really well.
Yeah, I guess so. Something for us, so obviously we speak about team culture all the time, but I guess we've had massive weeks and massive days, and I love seeing those days. Always have an amazing impact. It's just like when you have a really big job and everyone's on site, the impact that has on team morale and everybody. Whilst they are a bloody hard slog getting it all done, and then seeing the impact that it has on team morale, they love the achievement. So they're rallying together, they're making sure that we can get everything done. Everybody's seeing them come they really perform at their peak within their own little role or their own space. And I love seeing that. Oh, and also, sorry, I'm going to take over the conference. How could we not mention the conference?
Oh, that was a challenge
I should
too.
definitely
We
put that as
skipped
number
that.
one. We definitely skipped that as a challenge. But the outcome, the feeling after the conference was done, that was awesome.
First ever Australian Home Staging Conference. We enjoyed it enough that we're doing it again.
Yes.
Yep. I'm the
Something
numbers
wrong with
guy
us.
in the team.
Is there something wrong with us?
We enjoyed the challenge. No. I'm the numbers guy in the team. I'm the Excel nerd and enjoy that. So in terms of what impressed me, it's the outcome of the business, the growth, like everything that goes with that, like the team that you just mentioned, what has to happen to make 10 installs in a day happen, and everything, like working backwards from there, the number of consults and quotes that had to happen there, the number of pack-ups that has to happen alongside to make 10 installs work, the logistics behind it all, the number of phone calls and things we have to organise for access, and there's just so much that goes into that. To me, the growth and what we're capable of doing, it was something that I'm really impressed with as a team, and the leaders in the team stepping up, that sort of thing. So the numbers impress me because of what I know goes behind it.
You like seeing a good little graph?
Who doesn't love a good graph?
Oh, God.
Looking ahead, what are our plans for 2025? For a bit of context, last year's answer was the inventory database,
Oh yeah, let's use that answer again.
implementing AI, and the conference.
That was Dubsado. Man, we could just use the same. We could just use the same thing.
Paste.
Looking forward to 2025. We had talked about automation
Yes.
for this year, and turns out that it takes longer to implement than what we both gave
Well, it has
credit
taken
for.
longer. I don't know if it had to, because we had a big year that we probably, at times, could have spent more time ourselves, and pushed it harder. But we're at a point where we could have said this last year, but early next year we'll be in a position to really implement that.
So you'll see our inventory system roll out. You'll see a new customer relationship manager software, CRM software roll out. Those bits and pieces happening just to streamline everything, which was definitely our answer last year. A second conference.
That'll be so February. That's start the year with a lot of focus on that.
Yep. And I would love to see us doing, and this has happened in previous years, doing similar numbers in March that we did to October. I don't know how we could go with bigger growth in October. I don't know if that's the plan, but I think it's one of those things.
The plan is always to look at opportunities and try and make the most of them.
Yeah.
So sometimes that has meant there's a lot of growth in the market. There's a lot of opportunity, incoming inquiries, new agents approaching us, and we want to take advantage of that. But that doesn't always have to be the way it goes. So we've got the 2 new trucks. They're not at full capacity right now, and I think that's one thing that we would like them to be. So there's going to be a little bit more growth in the team and the leadership group in terms of what their responsibilities are and what we ask from the senior team. Then, the AI stuff is always something that is in the background. It's probably not our priority, but the Dubsado stuff, there's probably some other things as well. It's probably the right time to ask us, but I haven't had time to sit down and think about it, given we're just now coming out of our crazy busy time. So watch this space.
So as always, a huge thank you to absolutely every single one of you who have reached out and used us or had a chat to us in some sort of capacity during 2024. We've had and built amazing relationships with so many agents, so many clients, and been fortunate to be a part of so many home sellers' journeys.
And I'll add on that the suppliers that we work with.
Oh, yes.
Like, to make this year happen, having the suppliers who will support us, both in the growth of Foxy and making stock available quickly, making that all happen, but also a number of our suppliers that we've been working with for a long time sponsored and really helped out with the conference earlier in the year. So having that support was, obviously we're very, very grateful for that as well.
And then I guess lastly, I think one of the bigger crowds to thank would be every person who's followed, viewed, commented, and had some sort of interaction with us on social media along the way. The encouragement and the support that we get from that community is unbelievable, and the amount of people who we actually managed to get to meet and do something with along the way is it's amazing. So to have that group of people, it's really awesome to have.
And this group is within that, but just to really double down on that, those that are in this industry with us and who ask questions, who comment on like you said, our social media, and even more the group of business owners that came to the conference and were just part of those conversations. We get a lot of support and a lot of encouragement from them.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate you.
And I appreciate you.
Well, we appreciate each other too.
Anyway, onwards and upwards for a really awesome 2025, and we can't wait to share what happens with you.